strategies for managing difficult behavior. But first, I want to ask you these two questions. How do you feel when a teacher is very clear about rules and expectations in class? And the other one is, how do you feel when they are not clear? You can have, or I'm going to give you like 1-2 minutes to think about it. And I'm going to write here like a template, which you can use to answer. But you can answer whatever you want, but I'm going to give you like a little guide. You already thought about something?
Yes.
Who wants to share an answer? It could be one, well, this or this.
Well, I feel comfortable when my teacher tells me what to do or how I need to be in the class, or for example in the works that we need to do, like the activities, because I know what the teacher expects. I know if I do something, maybe I don't have the whole points, and for me it's better because I'm a person who is like very picky with activities, like it needs to be perfect.
Okay.
So I think that's for me.
Okay, thank you. Who else?
I feel comfortable when they have a structure. So when they give us like, for example, there's this one teacher that gives us she calls it the first day like page, and in there we have dates, we have exams, and we have the presentations that we're going to do, and most of the time we can follow them accordingly. So I think that one's very good. I don't feel good when they don't get the class organization as it should be, because they get lost on what they say. One of my solid teachers was very like curious, like she just say like did I say you to do this, and all the class concurred that that was not happening, that thing never happened, and she was like, no, I did and I did and I did, and you can agree with her, and
Which word comes to your mind when you hear the phrase classroom strategies for managing difficult behavior? Which word comes to your mind?
Like a list of the strategies to manage the work of the classroom, like some rules.
Okay, so we can say strategies. Okay, another word,
It comes to my mind, consistency.
consistency. Please ignore my skills to grow. Okay, who else?
I don't know if it's correct or not, but dogmatism.
Okay. Yes. Patience. It's very good. Yes. Who else? Challenge. Challenge. Yes, definitely challenge. Who else has another idea?
Also self-regulation.
Self-regulation. And I think this is very important for teachers, but for students to learn. Okay, what else? Yes, persistence. Persistence. Yes. And we can keep adding more words because these are very related to the topic. Okay? We- Okay, the first one. Be definite. I know what I want. Okay? So know what you expect from your students. Set your own standards. Give exact details how things should be done and not many expectations. What do you think when it says not many expectations?
Well, I think because most of the times we expect a lot of things from our students, and if they don't get that, we feel that we don't do enough. And it's maybe sometimes we blame their students, but that's not it.
That's because our expectations, need to be real, right? Okay. Communications avoid ambiguities. If we have clear communication, everything is going to be fine, like we mentioned in the example before. So I think that is very important. Maintaining high standards and refusing to give up on your own expectations is the key to success and gives your students the feeling of you believe in them. Yes, we don't have to give up on our expectations. Okay? So, which is why I mentioned before that these need to be real, like not a real high standard that it is not going to be possible for us and neither to students. Okay? Be aware. I know what will happen if I do or don't get what I want. I get what I want, praise my students, and I don't get what I want, instinctive reactions, and this is like sanctions or how can I say when we talk like we're more angry to our students because it's instinctive. It's like I'm not happy, okay, but we need to be like always. Okay. Creative reaction. How can I deal with this differently? Do you have any idea of what we could do differently? the worst to keep the student like, oh my god, the teacher is not angry with me, but he also is like calm and explains to me like that way, so they better understand, right?
Yes, you would say yes. I always like every time I witness bad behavior, I try to ask what's the reason behind that behavior, because maybe they have a good reason, so I need to understand why do they, why they do it. So I try to ask both.
It's like to be in their shoes, right?
It also helps to take a little break before answering or asking them something, and just to calm.
Just calm down, take a deep breath, and think before speaking. Very good. Okay, now be calm and consistent. I'm always polite and fair to you. I know that it can be tired, but we cannot escape from a student's fight or misbehaviors. That is something normal. And I think if we're going to be teachers, we're going to deal with this. Okay? Remaining calm and consistent helps to stop confrontations with students. So like we already mentioned, keep calm, stay calm, take a deep breath, maybe take like a little break, or speak with the student to understand that attitude. Because we don't know how or what happens before. Maybe they are having trouble, I don't know, at home or with somebody. Okay? So I think that home is very, very important. Can you be persistent? I refuse to give up. Don't give up on the strategies because they don't work immediately. When you work in your behavior management skills, you are becoming an effective and better teacher, and failing is learning and trying again better. I think we are going to leave this. We're going to be in a point like, oh my god, maybe I'm not a good teacher and this is not working. But as we have read, the results are not going to be immediate. Like what I say today is going to be for tomorrow. Okay, so it is not. We need to keep it that in our minds like very, very clear. Okay? And that is not bad. Okay? We have to work in our behavior management skills, okay, and try to find a way. If something doesn't work today, okay, maybe it's going to work the next week for another situation. Okay, it depends on the context, right, and the mood of and the attitude of students. Okay. Can you engage them? I want you to learn. Find interesting, exciting, curious, amusing activities. Not every class has to be super funny and interesting or etc. What holds you back from being more experimental with your students? And what is the worst that could happen? Maybe we think now that, oh my god, just theory, that is really boring. But that is the way because the subjects, right? Not all the subjects are like, has to be very dynamic and playful. Okay? And we need to focus and to know that it's that way. Okay? What holds you back from being more experimental with your students? Do you think there is something like hold us back? No, I can't do this activity with my students.
Yes, I'm not a teacher yet, but I do get scared thinking that maybe they wouldn't like the activities that I made. So I get very anxious thinking that maybe they don't participate or they don't want to, they don't find it engaging. So I think that's what pulls me from maybe thinking about
okay, I have to print like 20 color
Yes.
sheets, and each of them is 10 pesos.
Yes.
And it's like, no, I think I'm going to do something more simple here.
Okay.
I think that also can be like that it doesn't apply to the plan, to the lesson plan. Like if you're seeing like an art class, you can probably propose to go to a museum, but if it doesn't apply like the school, you need to have, you need to take the bus and everything, it can stop you to be student.
I have also had to me that when I'm teaching some students, when they are like pre-teens, they don't want to participate in activities. So I have to think of other activities that they would like to be part of because most of the time they don't want to. So that's what keeps me away from being experiment.
Maybe activities like in group.
Yes, they are really engaged with cahoots and proposals, but they're not engaged in doing something like physical or something.
Or
like that.
individual, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, give them structure. I know where we're going. How can you offer structures to your students? Like you already mentioned, clear lesson content, classroom organization through the methods use control to behavior. Okay, we always have to be clear, okay, with the content and with the information and with the tasks that we given to the students to do, right? Because yes, there's a lot of information and students can be confused. So that point has to be very, very clear. And organization, of course, you have to be very, very organized. If not, students can get lost. Okay? Guys, I want you to ask you. 2 multiplied by 2. Okay? 3 multiplied by 7. Okay. Okay, that is to see if you're engaged. You're paying attention. Okay. Well, this is clear. Yes. Can we move on? Oh, this is very, very important. Be positive. You're doing great. Be positive is not only about praising students without choosing the right time and having a positive attitude during a class. What do you think? Being positive is not like happy all the time. It's like being positive with ourselves too, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe today I'm not in a very, very happy mood. Maybe I'm tired, but I try to remain and to be like you're very calm and to feel confident and to show you that I'm like willing to work with you. Okay? So I don't know if you have something to say.
Well, I think this is so important also to be positive with us because when you are in front of class, maybe you feel like not so comfortable or you feel like your students are not learning, but you need to be positive while you're teaching.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not the students tell you like we're doing great, but you need to be positive with that attitude.
Yes, it's very good. Maybe sometimes even as teachers are like a little lost in the topics. But if you notice that if you have confidence, the students are not going to notice that, okay? So it's very good. But I'm prepared. So keep going on, please. Okay, some tips for being positive. Treat your class with a positive expectation. Expect the best from your class. Be positive with you too. Frame what you say in a positive light. Avoid accusing your students or criticizing them. Very important. Treat very carefully with sarcasm and avoid it completely with younger students. React to misbehavior by alternative. Okay? Remember what we already talked about sarcasm. Okay? Like it is not good to do that with any students, especially the youngers. Okay? Can you go back? Being interested. You are people as well as students. Taking interest in students, especially those who are showing bad behavior, it will make them feel accepted, seen, and listened to. I think that is very important because we are not here just like to teach you a topic. Okay? So we have to be like, oh my God, your work is really good and you're doing really, keep going. So if we show that to our students, the student of course is going to feel special. Like the teacher told me and I want to keep improving. So I think it's very, very important to be interested in our students. Okay? I don't know if you have an experience or an example or something to say.
This happened the last day at work. I was in the classroom and the topic was, well, the vocabulary was related to our favorite things. And I asked them to write their favorite sport. And this girl said, oh, I like taekwondo. And I was like, oh, I used to practice that sport and oh, yeah, my experience. And she at the beginning of the class was her mom, and she said to me like, because she was crying, and she said to me like, she isn't feeling right today, and please be patient with her. And I was like, yeah. And after that little interaction, she was like very, very happy. And at the end of the class, she like came to me and said, teacher, my birthday is the next week. And I said, wow. Then she said that I'm going to go to that restaurant and I like the music that I play there and that. And I was like, wow. And how many years you have and how old you are. And she was like very, very honored.
Is that you notice that she changed her mood, right? Because you feel important. Okay. Well, be flexible. I know when to bend rather than break. Okay, we need to know that there must be a balance. We have to be flexible, but not like, yes, do whatever you want. Okay? And also, not like, you have to do this way. No, this is wrong. Okay? Because, like we already mentioned before, students are not soldiers. Okay? So it is very important. What do you think about being flexible? Do you think it's hard for teachers to be flexible? Or we have to be like very serious all the time? Right? Yes?
I think it's hard in the sense that maybe, especially when you're just initiating as a teacher, you don't know like the limits of this really because with some students maybe it was really well to be really flexible,